Eris Morn has transformed herself into a Hive god of vengeance. Ever since we've met this character, the Hive influence was quite apparent. She's guided us to take down many leaders from Crota all the way to the Witch Queen herself. And today we're going to look at these steps Eris Morn has taken to cement herself in Hive legacy. Her next step morphing into something new to stop Xivu Arath in the process. This is quite the story, and let's jump right in. There's a lot of lore on Eris's pre-Guardian life and Ahamkara hunt where she fought with Ikoras, Vala, Shax, and others to end the Wish Dragons, but of course we begin with the most detailed story about Eris, the Moon. Eris and Warlock Ariana III began a mission to take down the son of Oryx, Crota, who was terrorizing Luna. Preparing their journey, they recruited 4 other Guardians alongside them, Moda, Veltarlo, Omar Aga, and Toland the Shattered. Toland knew Hive lore extensively and helped plan their assault with the group. When they landed on the moon, they would approach the Temple of Crota. As they would descend, they hear the terrible screams of Omnigul echo through the chambers. Soon later, the first member, Veltarlo, would succumb to the darkness. Alakul was there, and Thrall forces overran and killed Vel. After Vel's death, in frantic chaos, the group was split up. Eris, Omar, and Toland were together, Ariana III and Mota by themselves. Ariana and Sai went after Omnigul. Sai fell to the will of Crota, and Ariana III actually made it near the Oversoul but was killed by the Death Singer's song. During this whole process, their ghosts were damaged beyond repair and their light was getting drained. Toland was obsessed with Hive and their history. At some point along this journey, he sought out the Death Singers himself and their proclaimed song, which ended up ripping his soul from his body and sending it to the Ascendant Plane. Omar Aga was captured by a Hive wizard, brought deep into the tunnels and put into a vice where his ghost watched the Hive rip his light out of him. Eris heard these screams and actually managed to approach, but as she watched in horror, she vowed that there was nothing she could do if she wanted to survive herself. This left Eris Morn, alone in the dark tunnels, light draining. Eris had one last trick though, an Ahamkara bone she'd had in her possession since the Great Hunt. She didn't like the idea of using darkness and these magics, but at this point it became a necessity. The Ahamkara bone would guide her through the tunnels for years, eventually reaching the surface. Robbed of her ghost, Eris remained lost among the darkest shadows of the hellmouth for countless cycles. Despite all odds, she endured, using the very dark she battled to emerge a changed warrior, driven, some would say obsessed. Eris learned Hive magics from Toland's journal which kept her alive deep in the pit. She did lose her ghost and her eyes to the Hive, but took acolytes to use instead. Eris had a bond with that fire team, and this was a very traumatic event. They did everything they thought they could to take down Crota, but fell short. Eris returned to the surface, but at what cost? She was broken, changed, and wanted revenge. Returning to the city, she would assist Guardians in ending Crota once and for all in the Crota's End raid.
6 of us went down into the pit. Only one crawled out. I am Eris, the last. I have seen what the Hive call a god. Crota, son of Oryx. He took everything from me.
The leaders of the city felt different about Eris. The Speaker and Zavala questioned the Hive magics, while Ikora brought her into her secret spy group called the Hidden to provide secrets when needed. Oryx says, "Where is my son? Where is Crota, your lord, your princely god, your godly prince? Tell me no lies. I feel his absence like a hole in my stomach. Where once his tender tribute wetted burrowed mouths, now only hunger remains. Hear me, O waning stars. O tattered rags of sky, I will stopper up this tearing gulf with vengeance. After the events of Crota, Eris formed a bond not only with Ikora but with the Queen of the Awoken, Marasov. In Ghost Fragment the Queen 2, Eris and Osiris head to the reef to speak to Mara. Eris succeeded in Crota's end, now it was time for Oryx. I have no wish to play politics. I have no grievance with the city, not anymore. I have no grand hopes to end the war. For long I have known I will not see its end. I am here for one battle, and one alone, because it is a battle we must all fight, together or separately. So I will warn the defenders, together or separately. I will do anything, her low voice shook with passion, to end Oryx. Eris's Hive destruction would begin. Crota was dead, Oryx was next. Her deal with the Awoken is seen throughout the Taken King expansion. The Awoken sacrificed their fleet to stall the Dreadnought, while Eris would get the Guardians on board and deal with the big guy himself. Mara of course died in that opening cutscene, but would retreat to her own throne world and later return. This was all part of the plan.
You and I know how this ends. We've known since you escaped from that pit. The Awoken have played their part. This was all part of the plan.
You were right. The Guardian was the key. For the first time, the whispers are silent. It is done. I have accepted my fate. I will not fail.
The Guardians kill Oryx in the story, and again when he retreats to his throne world in the King's Fall raid. The cool thing is we could have taken Oryx's throne ourselves right there, it would have been ours with all that power, but decided not to do this because that's a lot and sword logic and darkness can't be a good thing. Toland was mad at us for not taking this position. Oryx was step 2 in Eris's plan, but that wasn't all aboard the Dreadnought. Next, Eris wanted to take out anyone who could possibly rise to power and take Oryx's spot. This included Malak and revenge on Alakul the Darkblade, who assisted in some of their deaths back in the Hellmouth.
May his dark soul go screaming into the pit between the stars. The creatures of the Hive are treacherous, vicious, but they can still fall to infighting, to petty distractions of the flesh. That is why we must rise above, Guardian. It is the only way we will survive the long night.
Now, Crota was dead, his father Oryx, and everyone who could take his throne. Eris kinda chilled in the background for a bit as we went through the Red War and Forsaken, working with the Queen and doing her Hive experiments as she does. During Shadowkeep, she would help out once more. On the moon, guided by her rock, Eris found a pyramid ship that has been there since the collapse but now awakened, unleashing nightmares and causing the Hive to build a Scarlet Keep to see what all the fuss was about. Eris helps us in taking down these Hive, Hashladun, daughter of Crota, and the rest of her forces. We eventually enter the pyramid and learn more about the darkness, and along the way Eris is tormented by her former fire team. The Guardians assist her in resolving these nightmares.
It is noted that my fate is my own responsibility. And we both know you didn't come here to apologize.
I came to tell you, you were right. It seems those responsible for our collapse are coming back.
Riot! You're all insufferable! Save your torment for someone who gives a damn.
In Season of the Arrivals, darkness beckons Guardians and Eris to Io, where a pyramid rests over the cradle. We try to hear what the darkness tells us, but Savathun intervenes. We later learn that an ancient power awaits us on Europa. Season of the Arrivals was sort of the start of Eris's look into the darkness itself, what it's trying to say to us, and Savathun's involvement in all of this.
It found me. The darkness reached out, but something interferes. Its messages to us are being defaced.
Defaced?
By the witch sister of the taken King Oryx. Savathun. If the darkness reaches out, we must reach back.
I will not sanction this.
We are beyond sanctions. It is here. I will return to Io. If we cannot determine what the darkness seeks, we will find ourselves on the verge of a second collapse. Perhaps that is what Savathun wants.
Please, don't.
Let me go, Zavala.
In Beyond Light, Eris joins forces with Elsie and Drifter on Europa to learn more about the pyramids and wield stasis effectively. In the dark future, Eris goes mad. Elsie was here now to train Eris in hopes to prevent that future. Now to Witch Queen. Eris had Hive magic and knowledge. She began to lean into darkness as well after those events of Shadowkeep, learning the truth behind the pyramids and even obtaining power from them. In Witch Queen, Savathun would finally make herself known on Mars, and with Ikora and the Hidden, Eris would assist our Guardian in taking out the Lucent Brood. Eris spoke more often about how Guardians should use darkness to their advantage. Eris would also assist Ikora with the Worm Familiar and revealing the truth about Savathun, allowing the Guardians to go in, show that to her, and take her out. Savathun was now out of the picture. In Season of the Haunted, nightmares return as Calus's Leviathan halts over the moon, attempting to bridge his mind to the lunar pyramid itself. Eris, with Hive magic, creates the Nightmare Harvester and links it to the Crown of Sorrow. We banish nightmares and attempt to stop Calus's link with the help of Eris Morn.
Song of Sothona, your words are mine to command. Bolog, Aya.
Eris!
Chords plucked in authored throats find chorus. Echoes once dissonant, exhumed, find harmony in binding flesh. It burdens. It burdens. It burdens until the choir relents, accepting. We are bound.
During Plunder, she wasn't really there much, but she helps examine the relics of Nezarec and provides assistance when needed. Her relationship also expands with Drifter at this point. Since Forsaken, Xivu Arath has also been making herself known, and Eris was quite aware of this. Over the years, we've learned that Xivu is fueled by war. During the Dreaming City, she summoned champions. During Seraph, we almost lost because of the Seraph Station fueling that war, and during Deep last season, her forces would invade Titan. Eris returns this season in Season of the Witch with a new strategy, something that has been brewing since the Hive stole from her back in the pit. The only way to defeat this Ascendant Hive Xivu is to become Hive yourself. Become a stronger Hive and take out Xivu like her siblings did long ago.
Xivu Arath draws strength from our conflict. She believes her logic absolute. I will grasp it and contravene its power. There is no other way. I separate the true from the dead. I am the many-mouthed hunger. I am the knife-edged truth. I devour the free. I conspire with my vengeance. I will take what I need. The words in my throat are the weapon in my fist. Hayat! Hayat! Hayat!
Knife-edged truth. Bring me your tithes.
Eris Morn transforms herself into a Hive god of sorts. Not fully, she can kinda go back and forth between human form, but with this artifact staff that has a piece of worm inside of it, our guardian can tithe all of our killing to Eris, making her bigger, more powerful, and hopefully able to defeat Xivu in the end. Eris may not have had this planned all along, but she now sees it's necessary, and with the knowledge she's gained over the years is capable of achieving this. She was there nearly every time we took out important Hive leadership, and now Xivu is all that remains in the grand scheme of things, and she wants to put this to an end. Eris Morn wants vengeance for the death of her fire team, the changing of her eyes, the lives lost in battles like the Taken War, Dreaming City, and Witch Queen. Eris has immense power and could have even more. She just better hope she can control her new Hive abilities, not slip too far down the path of that dark future. Savathun says she knew Eris would take this path, so that could be seen as alarming as well. Was Eris too predictable? Will she fall into the trap of Xivu? Anyway, Guardians, that's all we got for this video. A brief overview of Eris Morn's events with the Hive and what it's led to in Season of the Witch. If you'd like to see some more Destiny, lore, and mysteries just like this video, please be sure to subscribe to the channel. Anyway, I thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next video.